Fans, welcome to Inspiration Field at Carroll Willis Park for the second game of the doubleheader between the Trine University Thunder and your Illinois Wesleyan University Titans. Now let's meet today's starters. First for the Thunder, playing center, number 2, Whitney Jewell. Playing right, number 13, Joe Trine. Playing first, number 19, Tyra Markham. The designated player, number 23, Debbie Hill. Playing third, number 25, Macy Rocha. Playing center, number 34, Emma Lee. Playing shortstop, number 6, Emma Byron. Playing left field, number 4, Keelan Wheaton. Playing catcher, number 20, Ainsley Phillips. And in the circle for the Thunder, number 22, Michaela Dwaroff. And now the starters for your Illinois Wesleyan Titans. Playing left, number 1, Haley Mogaza. Playing center, number 5, Anna Becker. The DP, number 10, Bella Pinto. Playing shortstop, number 27, Jen Coons. Playing third, number 11, Casey Wisman. Playing first, number 22, Ava Corey.
There was little the Titans could do.
Playing catcher, number 21, Jillian Ballard. Playing second, number 24, Monica Brown. Playing right, number 25, Grace Wilson. And in the circle for the Titans, number 15, Mallory Holland.
Holland, the sophomore out of Shelbyville, Illinois. 3 appearances this year. And we're underway in Game 2. We start off the most efficient way. 1 pitch and 1 out from Dual. G4, if you go along with us, Holland in 13 innings of work has yet to allow an earned run. Gave up 2 unearned against Claremont Mud Scripps on March the 8th. As Carly Trine steps in. Trine in Game 1. 2 for 4. And continues her strong day. Tight play at first. Trine beats it out.
2 pitches and already lots of action here. 1 runner on, 1 out.
Similar lineups on both sides for Trine. The only change is Keelan Wheaton is playing left field and hitting 8th. Kennedy Huckabee not getting the start in the second stanza. Everything else is pretty much chalk. There's a couple of swaps in terms of the order. We'll get you that in just a minute. For Illinois Wesleyan, they platoon the catchers. Jillian Ballard gets the start after Clara Post started Game 1. Holland is in the circle. Everything else identical to game number 1. Here's Tyra Markham.
Markham went 1 for 3 with a walk and a base hit in Game 1.
Speaking of Huckabee, she pinch runs. First pitch up and out. It's the first pitch that Ballard has had a chance to get her glove on. Strike called. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Just inching into the zone.
Swung on, hit in the air to left, tailing foul.
Holland, having watched that first game, will know how effective Trine are, how easily they capitalize on the early leads that they can build up. It's been a trend throughout the season, and it's one that held true in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Wesleyan will be trying their best to quell that threat early on here.
Markham hitting .370 entering today.
Two and two.
Home opener for Illinois Wesleyan after numerous long road trips to start the year. Next pitch, little teardrop smothered by Kuhn to second for 1.
Very well done by Kuhn. Getting low, to stop that ball from rolling out into the outfield, playing it smartly to second base. So far, so good for the Titans, despite that early hit.
Huckabee out at second. Fielder's choice for Markham if you keep track with us. 2 out, and here comes Debbie Hill.
We know exactly what she can provide to this team. She showed us very early in Game 1.
And now we see how Holland decides to work. Her line in game number 1 hit a 2-run home run in the first inning and then was walked the next 3 times, mainly from pitch arounds.
Hill's been getting used to this now, and I'm sure the Titans aren't the first team that have faced her threat in this manner.
And it's a very similar start to game 2 compared to game 1. Game number 1 started off with a walk, but it's the same situation. A runner on base with 2 out for Hill. 2-0. With the count 3-0, you'd expect Holland to continue to work that outside black. Not try and force anything. Wind has died down a hair compared to where it was at the start of the first game. Ball 4.
And a 4th walk of the day for Hill.
Prior to this doubleheader, 7 walks in 16 games played. So, not a clip that stands out, but that certainly is increasing more and more.
Yeah, and all things considered, she'll be satisfied to have started this doubleheader in that fashion with the 2-run home run because she's established herself as the biggest threat on the day. And it'll be interesting to see if at any point in this game, obviously, the score factors in, whether a different approach will be taken.
Macy Rocha pop up that wisely Ballard rolls foul. Those are some of the hardest plays for a catcher to make.
Yeah, good decision by her. She saw the trajectory of that ball. And we see it again here on the replay.
If you look at that ideally you have the corners coming in and they run out of space. It's a lot easier to catch that pop-up moving forward compared to moving back as Holland misses high and wide. Because the last thing you want if you're a catcher is you square up to catch it in fair territory, hits off your glove, rolls foul, and all of a sudden what should have been an out or a foul at the very, very least turns into potentially a double.
And with 2 runners on, that's especially dangerous.
That depends how the ball rolls. Here at Inspiration Field, there's not a ton of space. Yanked foul. Not a ton of space between home plate and the backstop. So there's not a ton of room for that ball to go.
Yeah, that works in favor of the defense on occasion.
Look at some parks where you have a lot more real estate behind the dish. Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 2 runners on. Holland looking to put up a goose egg in the first. On its way. Hit in the air to left. Playable. Milgazzo in foul ground makes the catch, and the side is retired. Trine strands a couple. They're kept off the board. Titans coming up in a scoreless affair on IWSports.com.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
but only 4 innings.
Bottom half of the first in Bloomington, Michaela Doiron takes the hill for Trine. It's been a couple of strong pitchers for the Thunder. Today we saw what Alexis Michon could do, and the numbers for Doiron in 2 appearances look eerily similar. The biggest difference between Michon and Doiron is the volume of work. Doiron with just 4 2/3 innings of work. Her last outing came on March 6th. Versus Moravian, it was a loss. She only lasted 2/3 and gave up 3 runs, none of them earned. So we'll have to see the strategy for the Thunder in the early going, considering it really hasn't been revealed how they plan on using her this year. Do they plan on using her as an opener? Do they plan on using her and evolving her into a starter? We'll have to find out. Haley Milgazzo, who had a great game in Game 1, grounds back out to Doiron.
And that's the perfect start for a pitcher who's had an up-and-down year so far. Hasn't been playing much, as you said. Had the misfortune of giving up all those unearned runs in her last outing.
Number 5, Anna Beckman.
She faces Beckman here, who's second in the order for the Titans.
Looks like we have an early pitching change for Trine. Doiron, the original scheduled starter. This time a ground out from Beckman, scooped up by Debbie Hill.
Yes, Debbie Hill is in the circle rather than Michaela Doiron.
So back-to-back G1 threes.
Bella Pinter.
And here comes Bella Pinter. Pinter in the first game. 2 strikeouts and a ground out.
Now, as for Debbie Hill, she's pitched 30 innings so far this season, 3.97 ERA.
Last outing came on the 19th against Ohio Northern. Pitched 5 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 2 walks, struck out 5. So you're not going to get the same strikeout volume from Hill compared to what we saw from Michon. And a walk.
Yeah, Pinter takes 4 pitches and she's off to first. Illinois Wesleyan get a runner on base here.
Number 27.
You'll recall, if you were with us for Game 1, that it wasn't a bad start offensively for the Titans, although relative to how Trine started the game, comparatively not the best start. Nonetheless, runner on early on here.
Jen Kuhn, who had 1 RBI in Game 1.
Yeah, knocked in one of the Titans' 2 runs.
It was a double in the first, grounded out in the 4th, and then the 6th. Coming back, Kuhn, a big swing and a miss, throw down to first, gets away. And Pinter a little slow to get up off of the first base bag.
Yeah, she stayed down, and now we see help rushing onto the field.
Athletic trainer Melissa Perkins out to check on Pinter after it looked like she got jammed on her way back to the bag.
She slowly worked her way up. Now we see the instant replay here. This looks like a difficult fall. Doesn't seem to have been much contact.
Yeah, Perkins quickly back to the dugout, so Pinter's all right.
And she's re-energized here.
0-2 count. Hill seeking her first strikeout of the day.
Yeah, she's had a busy day.
Kuhn wisely takes. On show, Kuhn stays alive. That's something that she did a great job of, along with the rest of this Titan roster in Game 1. Staving off 2-strike pitches, forcing the issue on the pitcher.
Oftentimes seeing her fake the bunt. Can she get this ball in play now? 1-2 once again.
Kuhn swings, hits it in the air to the right center gap, drops down for a base hit. Pinter gets the stop sign at third, so they're on the corners with 2 out, and here comes Casey Wismiller.
Statement of intent from Kuhn. As you mentioned, it's so crucial to stay alive in that sort of situation. She capitalizes with the very next pitch.
A chance for Wismiller.
She struck out twice, but also managed a hit.
To give the Titans the lead. Upstairs, ball 1.
With Corey on deck, should Wismiller take a walk, it would be a bases loaded situation.
Wismiller with 6 RBI. Two and 0 count. So Hill in a little bit of a jam here. Induced back-to-back groundouts to Malgazzo and Beckham. Walked Pinter, Kuhn singled. They're on the corners. Wismiller ahead 3-0. Biggest red light situation imaginable.
Now it's a good position for Wismiller because she knows she can take a ball and also knows that she can, that a hit would bring in a run, at least one.
Strike 1. So 3-0 dead red. We'll see if Coach Prager gives Wismiller the green light on 3-1. Try and load the bases. Green light's there. She swings and misses.
Now we have a full count, and Hill could get off scot-free here.
Kuhn will move with the action. So any blooper into the outfield with Kuhn's speed may be good enough to bring in a couple. Wismiller stays alive.
Again, doing what Kuhn just did. Forcing an extra pitch out of Hill. Definitely a different situation than what Michonne was facing. She stepped up to pitch in the first.
Another round of the payoff. Wismiller fouls it away. Kuhn takes off, low and away, bases are loaded.
And now this is a good situation for Ava Corey.
Now batting, number 22.
Corey, the senior out of Columbia, Illinois.
Second walk of the inning for Hill. And wouldn't it be a welcome back to Bloomington moment for the Titans if Corey knocks a grand slam?
I think that would blow the proverbial roof off this place.
Corey with one long ball this year, ball 1. Except the difference this time, Krill, is that now Hill has nowhere to put her.
Yep, she cannot afford a walk, and if this at-bat is stretched for too long, we'll see Hill definitely tighten up. It's a difficult situation, and Wesleyan have a rare opportunity, what they didn't have in the first game at all, to take the lead.
Ball 2, and you think about everything in this situation. We talked about it in the top half of the first. Debbie Hill, the hitter.
Right.
If you're a field player, your activity is not near the level of what it is when you're pitching.
Yep.
So you also got to attribute the fact that the Titans taking her deep in counts when she's pitching could have an impact on her hitting.
Absolutely. Now, granted, she hasn't had much to do as far as hitting is concerned since that home run in the first inning of Game 1. But it will play a role, and it might change Wesleyan's approach to pitching to her. Very interesting choice.
Might be in turn, maybe more motivation to put her on, make her spend the inning on the bases. So we have time called and an extended mound visit. You think about the strategy there by putting her on the bases. Pitchers are very habitual. You put them on the bases, they stay there. If they don't score, then it's all for naught. So then they're forced out of routine, and we're seeing them at a little bit here.
Yeah, it can chip away at a player's confidence, no matter the experience level, no matter the professionalism. At the end of the day, softball, like all sports, is a mental game.
2 walks this inning and a single, 2 outs. Ava Corey looking to strike first for Illinois Wesleyan. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
Just adds to the tension here.
Corey, a strikeout in Game 1 along with a pair of flyouts. With 2 outs, any ball that gets down in the outfield should easily be a pair of runs. Corey checks her swing and goes around. So Hill, following that mound visit and being behind 2-0, is drawn back to even at 2-2.
Yeah, difficult situation now for Corey. Got to stay composed, stay focused.
The deuces. Corey waves and misses at a high offering, and the side is retired. The Titans strand them loaded. Hill gets off with no problems, and we're still tied at 0 as we head to the second on IWSports.com.
It's time to play Did You Know with Illinois Wesleyan. First off, true or false, on average, over half of tuition for accepted students is covered by scholarships and grants. True, IWU invests more than $40 million in scholarships and grants for students each year. Where has IWU ranked in highest earning graduates among small schools in Illinois? If you guessed number 1, you got it. And what's even better, IWU is the number 1 college in Illinois for getting a job and number 7 in the nation. Last question, how much does it cost to apply to Illinois Wesleyan? If you said nothing, well, you're right. There's absolutely no application fee. So what are you waiting for? Visit, apply, and see all the opportunities for success that await you at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Top half of the second in Bloomington, still tied at 0 between Illinois Wesleyan and 11th ranked Trine. Matt Sosser alongside Kirill Anastasov. Holland still on the hill. She'll face off against Lee, Beyer, and Wheaton. 6, 7, and 8 slots for Trine. Illinois Wesleyan had a golden opportunity, bases loaded in the first, but they cannot come through. Debbie Hill getting a key strikeout of Ava Corey to strand them loaded.
Yeah, the Titans will rue that missed opportunity, but important to stay composed. Good news is they didn't give up any runs in the first inning either, so honors even here as we start the second.
Trine also had a little bit of a threat. Had first and second with 2 out, and they were unable to do anything with it. Hit in the air to center. Back goes Beckham off the wall. But stout read by the center fielder limits Emma Lee to just a single.
Yeah, Beckman did well to get that back into the infield as soon as possible. And what looked like a very dangerous contact there shapes up to be a very long single.
Emma Beyer.
So that brings up Emma Beyer First leadoff hitter to reach for Trine today.
Byer went 0 for 3 at the plate in game 1.
Trio of groundouts. Holland definitely hoping for a similar result here. Be good enough to have the first double play of the day.
And if nothing else, a fielder's choice to second.
Bunt shown. Goes around. Holland just misses low.
Holland, one of the key pitchers in this Titan rotation. Already pitched 13 innings so far. Credited with 1 win and no losses.
New sign. Ground ball at third. Wismiller to Corey, forced off the bag. So now we'll go to the books, see if that is marked down as a hit or an E5, considering the throw, based on first glance, would have beaten the runner.
Yeah, I mean, we look back at game 1 and we saw a similar miscommunication between Wismiller and Corey. Slightly misplaced toss to first in the 6th inning, I believe.
2 Gold Glovers from a year ago. So first and second, another ground ball. This time Wismiller just has to eat it.
Well, if nothing else, Wismiller does prevent that from reaching the outfield and knocking in runs, but now it's a bases-loaded situation with no outs.
So they did call it an error on Wismiller, so an E5 for Byer, infield single for Wheaton. Lee on third, to second is Byer, Wheaton on first. For the 9-hitter Ainsley Phillips, and Holland is in the toughest jam in the sport. Bases loaded, nobody gone. Right into the glove of Kuhn, a chance for 2. Couldn't get it, but a much-needed first out.
Yeah, great reflexes from Kuhn because it very quickly could have been 1, 2, even 3-0.
So an L6 if you go along with us, and that brings us back to the top of the order for Duel.
Number 2, Whitney Duel.
Whitney Duel grounded out to second base to start off this ball game.
Went 0 for 3 in the first game, but did get on base with a walk and eventually scored a run. Now she has an opportunity to knock in some runs, or alternatively, end the Titans' suffering in this inning.
Holland would certainly like a double play with 2, 3, and 4 waiting in the wings. Carly Trine, who had a pair of hits in game 1 and already has a single today. And then Tyra Markham, who reached base a pair of times in the opener, already once in the second game.
Yeah, they won't want to bring that part of the order up as that one's knocked past second.
Base hit, at least 1 run. Throw to the plate is wide. Chuck to third, not in time. So it's a 2 RBI single for Whitney Duel, and Trine strikes in the second.
Yeah, it's the perfect time to get your first hit of the day.
Lee comes in to score. Byer around to score. Wheaton on third. Duel takes second on the advance.
And that's Duel's 8th and 9th RBI, respectively, this season.
So here's Carly Trine with a chance. I don't want to necessarily say break this game open, still in the second inning, but an opportunity to cause some damage. And for those of you keeping stats, this is a major at-bat as Kuhn plays it off the hop, stares down, and gets the second out. Because of the error on Wismiller, we'll have to do some additional math during the commercial break. The Byer run is unearned no matter what. The Lee run, depending on what happens here with Markham, could potentially be unearned, which for Holland keeps her at a 0.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure And the important thing for Holland is the numbers on the scoreboard right now, but nonetheless, she has pitched fairly well.
1-0 misses low and away because you got to do a lot of math here. It's a lot of eyeballing in this situation where you got to think about, okay, what's the advancement here? Do runners advance? How do they score? Based on how it is now, get a ground ball to Kuhn. And that'll do it for the top of the second. Trine adds on a pair. We'll give you an update on Holland's ERA when we come back on IWSports.com.
OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute has been named one of the top hospital systems in the country for heart care. This prestigious award by the American College of Cardiology comes from our commitment to providing the highest quality of care. From general cardiology to complex surgeries and the latest technology. Nationally recognized heart care right here. OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute.
What is
Bottom half of the second inning in Bloomington. Trine putting up 2 runs in the top half of the second. They lead 2-0. Hill still working for the Thunder. She'll face off against the bottom third of the Titan lineup with Jillian Ballard, Annika Brown, and Grace Wilkins. An update on Mallory Holland's line. 2 runs given up in the second, along with her first earned run of the campaign.
And for Trine, if you had told them 10 minutes ago they would be up 2-0 in this game, given the situation they were in the bottom of the first, looked like Wesleyan might be the first to strike. And instead, down 2-0 here.
Titans had the bases loaded with 2 outs. Ava Corey struck out swinging. That's the momentum pendulum that we all talk about. You get that critical strikeout, you escape trouble, and then you're able to tack on 2. You're looking at maybe a 4 to 5 run swing.
Yep. And Hill knows that. She'll be happy that the offense did their part after she did hers.
Early 0-2 count to Ballard. Called out, strike 3.
Not the start Ballard wanted at the plate today, but she'll be back as we move now to the 8th batter in the order. That is, of course, Annika Brown.
Brown 0 for 3, however, did register a quality at bat on her strikeout in the second inning. Broke up what would have been an immaculate inning for Michon. Brown was behind 0-2 and was able to foul off a few pitches, work it beyond the 9-pitch threshold.
Yeah, Brown struggled at the plate so far this season, still very early on, but showing flashes of her talent, as you mentioned, in Game 1, and now we'll be hoping to get on base.
Trying out hitting Illinois Wesleyan 4-1. Almost all that damage taking place in the second. Brown fouls it away. Brown takes just out.
Ball 2, even
so
2
2-2. Hill has bounced back since that mound visit. She was behind 2-0 on Corey came back to strike her out, struck out Ballard, so she has back-to-back strikeouts dating back to the first. And a chance to take care of Brown, but Brown, just like she did in the first game, stays alive.
Yep. And that's what she does best. And yeah, the Titans in both game 1 and now early on in game 2, coming to rue some missed opportunities, leaving quite a few runners stranded. They'll have to dig themselves out of an early 2-run hole.
The deuces. Brown swings, hits it in the air to right. No issue.
Scooped up by Trine.
So Trine gets the out for the Thunder, and there's 2 gone. I'm curious if that played a role in her deciding where to go to school.
Now you can't help but wonder, what other choice did she have? If she was predestined for D3 softball, Trine was the only natural choice.
And I don't know if there are other jerseys. They say that there's an old adage in sport as Wilkins steps in that the name on the front is a lot more important than the name on the back.
But what about this situation?
In this situation, I don't know if they have white jerseys or gray or different jerseys. The back of their jerseys, you can see on your screen, say Thunder. I'm curious if they have another set that says Trine on the back.
Yeah, missed opportunity as far as
because
Trine's name is concerned.
Then Carly Trine, rather, would be the only player on the Thunder to have her name on the back of the jersey. Instead, she gets it on the front. Must be huge for her family. I mean, they go to the bookstore when she visits, and all of a sudden they got a full merch store with their name on it.
Yeah, feels special. And for what it's worth, she contributes more than just a fun commentator story. She's batted .385 this season.
1 for 2 today. Wilkins cuts and misses, strike 3, and the side is retired. Titans go 3 up, 3 down. Top of the order, due up for the Thunder, including their namesake Carly Trine, when we come back on IWSports.com.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Top half of the third inning in Bloomington. Holland still on the hill, facing off against the top of the Trine order. Debbie Hill starts things off. Walked in the first, and we talked about it earlier, Kirill. What's going to be the name of the game in terms of going after Debbie Hill, considering she's playing both ways, unlike she did in Game 1. She's walked 1 time in the second game, 3 times in the first game.
Yeah.
And also she's leading off, so there's nobody on.
It's a different situation. We're seeing a slight difference in approach from Holland. Granted, the count is 2 balls, 1 strike, but I believe that 1 strike is the first Hill has faced in 4 at-bats.
She had 1 in her first walk where it was a 3-0, and it was spun by her. And this is the rare first time that she's
facing 2 strikes.
In a 2-strike count.
That would be a morale boost to Holland to put away the most imposing batter in this Trine side. Full count now.
And looking at strikeouts for Hill, she does face pitching, given that she struck out 14 times. It's not like everybody's pitching around her. The payoff pitch from Holland. Foul back.
Certainly the longest Hill at-bat we've witnessed today. And there's a
missed strike 3.
Big moment for Holland. And even though to the naked eye that's just a routine strikeout,
Now batting number 25.
it's completely changing the sense of the game to put away Debbie Hill.
So following the strikeout, that brings up Macy Rocha, who flew out to left field, her first time up in the first inning. Fouled off the foot.
Rocha was productive at the plate in game 1, 2 for 4. Had 3 runs batted in. 3 of Trine's 6, of course. If you were here, if you missed that one, Trine won 6-2 in that clash. This one out to right field.
Hit in the air and deep back at the track, and it's gone.
3-0 Trine off a home run by Macy Rocha.
Second home run for the Thunder today. And for Rocha, she continues her strong doubleheader on the season. Rocha now has 3 home runs.
You can see here on the instant replay, cleared the fence by a few feet. No real chance for Wilkins. Now it's all about resetting for Holland. Low for ball 1.
For Holland, that's the first home run given up by her this year.
Yeah, she'll have to put it out of her mind. Rocha's a good hitter.
This is a Trine team that's had a lot of success over the last few years, won the national championship. In 2023.
Last
Made it
year,
to
of
Supers
course.
last year.
Yeah, they fell in the Supers.
Hit by pitch.
And now Holland needs to take a moment, needs to reset. Home run followed by a hit by pitch. And we are going to get mound visit, and
Yeah, it looks like Coach Prager's going to make a substitution.
you have to say it's the right choice. Not that Holland did fairly well in the first 2 innings. Unlucky in the second inning where her infield wasn't doing her too many favors, but listening has gotten a little out of her grasp.
Holland out. Maddie Poole comes in. For more on her in 30 seconds on IWSports.com.
At NCAA championships, noise is made here. Memories are made here. Champions win here. The only thing missing here is you. The NCAA Division III Softball Championship coming to Bloomington, Illinois this May. Get your tickets today at ncaa.com/tickets.
New pitcher in the circle for Illinois Wesleyan. It's Maddie Poole, a 1.27 ERA in 2 appearances this year. Poole's thrown 11 innings and has just been strong for Illinois Wesleyan to start.
Yeah, both of her outings came on the same trip when this team faced Chapman and Bethel in back-to-back games on March 9th and 10th. 6 innings in the first, 5 in the second of those games for Poole. And just 2 earned runs across the two appearances.
Freshman out of Wheaton, and you look at that Chapman game in which he pitched 6 innings. That was honestly a game the Titans would like to have back. There were a lot of plays here and there that could have easily gone the other way. She'll face off against Emma Byer to start. Get you Holland's line in just a minute. It's not complete yet with Emma Lee on first base. So for the second straight game, we're seeing Coach Prager go with, I guess you could say, an opener. All her starters and pitchers, by that extent, are capable of going the distance. Swing and a miss, throw down to second offline.
Yeah, we'll see if Poole can match the relief performance of Hermes, who looked very solid until the very end when things started to spiral a little out of control for the Titans defense.
If you're looking at parallels, Holland with a very similar line to what Gianna Serta had against the rail, and everybody runs out of room.
Yeah, 3 runs conceded, 1 home run. Similar situation.
Holland's line, again, not official yet with a runner on second base, but Serta 2 1/3, Holland 2 1/3. 4 hits for Serta, 5 for Holland, 3 runs allowed for Holland, 3 for Serta, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts, 1 walk and 1 strikeout for Holland. The only number that could potentially change for Holland is that 4th run should Emma Lee come in to score with 1 out here in the top half of the 3rd.
Maddie Poole will be doing everything in her might to prevent that 2-2 count here.
Just low.
Full count to start her outing. Bunt shown here by Byer.
Coming back, and a bailout throw to third. It gets away on the way home. Here's the throw, just a tad tardy.
And they'll be disappointed by that, the Titans will. Especially considering the fact that Lee wasn't quick off third base by the time she had realized that she had the freedom to go home. Wesleyan were already working that ball towards home plate, but Lee still beats the tag.
Now batting number 4, Keelan Wheaton.
So that brings up Keelan Wheaton with the Thunder leading 4-0.
You see here it was a half a second split.
Heads up, foul back. Wheaton singled in the second. And with that, we can officially close the book on Holland in terms of the runs with 4. In terms of earned versus unearned, that will have to wait, considering the throwing error. Poole misses low.
Yeah, Trine are looking to do what they really couldn't in Game 1, even though they did have the lead the entire time. It wasn't a commanding one. Whereas here, a run or 2 more, and they could be sitting pretty. With just 2.5 innings gone.
A run or 2 more, you start thinking, if you're trying, about run rule. That would put you at 6. All you need is 8 after the 5th.
Definitely not.
To clarify, be up by 8 after the 5th.
So obviously that would depend on how the Titans would produce offensively.
Catching the black line is Poole, strike 3, 2 out.
It's a good pitch by Poole.
Now batting number 20.
She did well to recover from the absolute chaos that was the previous at-bat. Still 4-0 to the visitors. Runner on second.
Swung on and missed for strike 1. Ainsley Phillips, who lined out to Jen Kuhn in the second to nullify big damage in the second inning.
Yeah, she struggled at the plate today. She had 2 strikeouts in game 1, went 0 for 3.
0-1 misses high. With the Titans' next contest not until Wednesday when they take on Illinois College, there's some flexibility in terms of pitching. 1-1. Down and in.
Poole can still escape this inning with minimal damage. Keep the game within a reasonable comeback. That one's low.
Poole misses again.
A walk here would bring Duel back to the plate. She already has 2 RBI to her name today.
Popped up in foul ground off the backstop.
Full count pitch coming.
Fouled again.
Let's see whether Phillips makes contact again here. Will we see any sort of shift in pitching style from Poole?
Pivotal payoff pitch. Way upstairs.
Yeah, she tried something different, didn't work out, didn't sneak into the zone.
That's the 3rd free pass issued by Titan pitching this inning. Lee got hit by Holland, Byer walked, and Phillips walked.
And Duel, who's at the plate now, wasn't particularly prolific in game 1, but got off to a flying start in this one. She's a dangerous player to bring to the plate with 2 on. Makes contact, but it's
fouled away.
Foul.
Duel ground out in the first, singled in the second. You also look at common opponents between these two teams. It's rare that you see common opponents with an MIAA school and a CCIW opponent. However, both these teams fell to Oshkosh in the tournament last year. Ground ball kept on the infield by Kuhn, saving a run.
Speaking of these common opponents, they also both faced Case Western Reserve this year.
Of course, Oshkosh Women's Sports having a fantastic last 12 months. However, their women's basketball team falling to Smith on Thursday, 49-47 in the Final Four. Poole misses high.
Now she can't afford a walk. That all-important 8th run is at the plate at the moment for Trine.
Poole misses high. So a grand slam would put the Thunder at 8. And if they were able to keep the Titans off the board for the next, at this point, 3 innings, then that would be a run rule.
Carly Trine already has a hit today in this game and 2 in the first. A 1-0 count. Yeah, certainly the Titans don't want to have the run rule go against them here in their home opener. That pitch is low.
Trine singled in the first, grounded out in the second. On its way. Strike called.
Man, that's a lucky break for Poole. It's a good pitch, but a risky one.
Trying to avoid a third straight base runner. Will run down this inning in just a minute as Poole tries to get out. Swung on, hit in the air to left, but playable for Milgazzo, and the side is retired. Trine strands the bases loaded, but they tack on a pair more. They lead 4-0, honestly, Curl. It feels a lot more than it actually is, but the
Certainly.
Titans still within striking distance. Bottom of the third when we come back.
It's time to play Did You Know with Illinois Wesleyan. First off, true or false? On average, over half of tuition for accepted students is covered by scholarships and grants. True. IWU invests more than $40 million in scholarships and grants for students each year. Where has IWU ranked in highest earning graduates among small schools in Illinois? If you guessed number 1, you got it. And what's even better, IWU is the number 1 college in Illinois for getting a job and number 7 in the nation. Last question, how much does it cost to apply to Illinois Wesleyan? If you said nothing, well, you're right. There's absolutely no application fee. So what are you waiting for? Visit, apply, and see all the opportunities for success that await you at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Bottom half of the third inning at Inspiration Field. Matt Sosser alongside Kirill and Astazov. The Titans are able to escape big damage in the third, but still concede a pair of runs and trail 4-0 with the top of their order due up for the second time against Debbie Hill, who bent but didn't break in the first and then shut the Titans down in the second.
Yeah, it's been an interesting turn in fortunes for Hill and for Trine, based on how this game started for them.
Fair ball from Milgazzo, so she leads off the third with a single.
Milgazzo, truly, she's the player who can break any team's rhythm. We saw that in Game 1 when the Titans were at their driest as far as hitting is concerned. Milgazzo would produce some magic. And here, once again, can they get a little run going here behind Milgazzo's single?
Brings up Beckman. If the Titans are at least able to get one of the runs back, it feels like a much different contest.
And Beckman knows that. Went for the bunt in an attempt to advance Milgazzo, but it trickles foul.
Shows again, pulls back, also choking up. It's definitely going for more of a restrictive swing.
The good thing for Trine is Hill has already shown her aptitude at digging herself out of sticky situations. So the early hit doesn't have to mean anything as far as the scoreboard's concerned.
Has yet to allow the leadoff hitter to reach until this third inning.
So I guess in that way, our pattern's been broken. Good sign for the Titans.
And by extension, has not had a base runner on with less than 2 outs. Still early, it's still the third inning. Ground ball. Just the play at first, so a G3U.
Yeah, and Beckman accomplishes what she set out to achieve. She went for the bunt. The goal was always to advance Milgazzo, and she does it in a different way with a ground out. But Milgazzo's speed too much for Trine to force the double play.
That brings up Bella Pinter, who reached via a walk and got stranded on third base in the first inning. Strike one.
Yep. Pinter takes a look at the first strike.
High and wide. 1-1.
Of course, we'd be amiss not to mention that it is Jen Kuhn on deck. If she could come on in a 2 runners on, 1 out situation, things could get dangerous for Trine.
Big swing and a miss. Pinter herself wanted to take care of that. Make it a 2-run game with 1 swing of the bat.
Ambitious effort. Can't blame her for attempting it. Still early enough in this game where Wesleyan can afford those attacking risks.
Action taking place in the Wesleyan bullpen. Caroline Gatchell is getting loose down the left field line.
Bunt shown by Pinter.
The deuce is fouled away.
Again, prolonging that at-bat.
Hill with 3 strikeouts today. Got Corey in the first, Ballard, and Wilkins in the second. Just missing.
Yeah, good eye there from Pinter. Didn't take a swing at that one. Forces the full count, which even in a situation where your team is up 4-0 places more pressure on the pitcher than the batter.
Pinter can reach. You're putting yourself in a big situation. With Kuhn on deck, Wismiller in the hole, and Corey after that.
All very dangerous players. We saw Wismiller register a hit in game 1. We saw Kuhn knock in run.
Another round of the 3-2. Ground ball off the glove. On her way home, and scoring is Melgazo.
Oh, that's exactly what the Titans needed. Now they need to catch a second win behind this run. They're on the board. Much, much needed. And with Kuhn coming up, 1 out and a runner on, and the score is now, it's just a 3-run game.
It's a single for Pinter, so she gets credit for the RBI. She'll be lifted for a pinch runner.
That is just Pinter's 4th RBI this year. She came into this game with a 333 batting average.
Titans have scored 3 runs over both games today. All of them have been scored by Melgazo. Julia Wilkins, the pinch runner for Illinois Wesleyan. So she's on first for Jen Kuhn.
The great thing about Melgazo, and she's on second, even a single is often a guarantee that she'll make it home.
Kuhn watches strike 1 go by. Singleton got left on second base in the first inning.
Now, what we mentioned earlier, how Trine escaped a sticky situation in the first inning and came away with the lead. Now Wesleyan have the opportunity to do the reverse. Remember, 3 runners stranded for Trine earlier on.
Kuhn swings. It's a Taylor into right, playable. Trine is there for the grab. And here comes Casey Wismiller with 2 out.
Wismiller had a walk earlier on in this game.
She got left on first base.
She'll try to avoid doing the same to Wilkins here. Or
Good smother by Phillips behind the plate.
yeah, she does well to prevent that from spiraling out of control.
Trine out hitting Illinois Wesleyan 6-3. Titans already with 1 run across in this stanza. Good take from Wismiller. But called a strike.
Corey waiting, should she get an opportunity to bat.
She would be the tying run should Wissmiller reach.
Even count, 2-2.
Wissmiller takes again. So full count, Wilkins on first, and she'll take off with the pitch. Ball 4.
2 on, 2 out.
So Wissmiller walks for the second time today. Also walks for the second time today with 2 out. And Ava Corey, who struck out in the first with the bases loaded, has an opportunity for redemption, representing the tying run. Ball 1.
Corey came into the weekend with the second highest batting average out of Wesleyan players with more than 10 plate appearances.
However, 0 for 4 straddled across both games today, including a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, she struggled to produce her best stuff today. Now would be as good a time as any.
And coincidentally, for the second time in the second game, ahead in the count, 2-0. Hill came back last time to strike her out. Strike 1.
Yeah, Hill maybe experiencing some deja vu here, hoping to rekindle that pitching magic.
Corey, big swing and a miss. She wanted to tie the game with that.
Now it's all about a sensible pitch from Hill and a sensible decision from Corey. Big moment.
Coming back, Corey waves and misses strike 3, and Hill escapes another multi-runner jam. However, the Titans are able to get back on the board. They trail 4-1 to the 4th we go on IWSports.com.
OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute has been named one of the top hospital systems in the country for heart care. This prestigious award by the American College of Cardiology comes from our commitment to providing the highest quality of care. From general cardiology to complex surgeries and the latest technology. Nationally recognized heart care right here. OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute.
What is
Top half of inning number 4 in Bloomington. 11th ranked Trine with a 4-1 lead over Illinois Wesleyan. Thunder going for the doubleheader sweep. Titans trying to come back and salvage a split. Maddie Poole in relief, still working. Facing off against the heart of this Trine order, Markham, Hill, and Rocha. Poole came on for Mallory Holland, and so far today, Poole in 2/3 of an inning has given up 1 hit. Gave up a couple of runs that are credited to Holland.
Markham had a hit and a walk in game 1.
Half swing. Did not go.
The Titans, with that Game 1 loss, had a 5-game win streak snapped. Trine made it 8 consecutive victories. And
Chance to balloon that to 9 if they can pull off the sweep. Markham earns a free pass to first. That's been the bugaboo for Illinois Wesleyan today. It's been, for lack of a better word, it's been gifts to the Thunder. Titans with a pair of errors.
Number 12, Maddie Cortez.
3 walks, a hit by pitch.
yeah, in terms of overall quality, we've seen glimpses of the best the Titans have to offer. We've seen at times that they can hang with a top 15 team in the country, but at the end of the day, they have to cut down on those mistakes if they're going to hope for an upset win today or any day.
Debbie Hill comes up. Struck out in the third, only has 2 official at-bats today.
It's been almost comical what her day has transpired into. Started with that 2-run home run, if you recall, and then a surprise appearance as the starting pitcher for this game.
Walked 3 times in game 1, walking to strike out in game 2. Hill takes, low and away.
Well, given that last time she was up at the plate and Hill struck out, I'm sure she would gladly take another walk here. Make it 2 runners on with no outs. Would be interesting to see how Wesleyan handle that from a pitching perspective.
Had 3-0. Catches the upper outside corner.
Yeah, Hill had no desire to go after that one. Good pitch from Poole to bolster her confidence after 3 balls to start this at bat.
Strike 2.
Now she's worked it to a full count.
So that's something to look out for the freshman. See how she battles back in adverse counts.
Yeah, she's making a name for herself here. Or still early in the season. Can stake her claim for an increased role.
Payoff, foul tip nearly hung on from Ballard. But instead we'll do it again.
Now Hill doing what's been done to her multiple times by Titans players, staying alive. Just.
By the thinnest of margins. Ballard hangs on, that's strike 3. Fouled away.
Now it's important, hugely important for Poole not to get impatient. Stay composed, deliver the pitches like those 2 strikes, and what could have very well been a third.
Coming back. Another foul ball. Been a handful of souvenirs here at Inspiration Field today.
Yeah, we can see members of the crowd apprehensively looking towards the parking lot in those situations.
Another round of the payoff way north.
That is not the pitch she wanted. Completely off the mark.
To back walks to start the 4th. That brings up Macy Rocha. Rocha takes inside.
Yeah, it's a relaxed situation for Rocha. 2 on, nobody out. 3-run cushion already, almost halfway into this game.
Flew out in the first, hit a solo shot in the third.
And we can see perhaps from Poole's low pitches that she does not want to give Rocha any chance of replicating what she did in her last at-bat.
Trying to avoid walking the bases loaded Mound visit, look to see if Baller can try and settle Poole down.
Yeah, Ballard will be disappointed not to have caught that third strike.
It's not an easy play by the furthest of extents.
No, not in the slightest. But
especially with a riser. Hits the bat. Change in direction. You got to worry about a change in velocities. 2-0 popped up on the infield. Brown for the first out.
Perhaps the perfect denouement to that at-bat. No situation in which that advances any runners.
Now batting number 34.
Call that a non-productive out. Doesn't advance any runners. It's a low-stress play, low-cost play, if you would.
For what it's worth, Trine could definitely afford that with the cushion they have right here. Still, if the Titans were to get out without conceding a run, could be huge.
Swing and a miss, and you mentioned cushion. I mean, by the extent, still, if the score held, it would be a save situation in the last inning.
Illinois Wesleyan doing everything they can to send this back to their offense. Still a 3-run game.
Pools seem to have found a rhythm after allowing back-to-back walks, the pop out from Rocha, and now ahead 0-2 on Emma Lee.
She's done very well to recover from what was a poor final pitch in her last walk.
Lee, who's reached twice, singled and scored in the second, got hit by a pitch in the third. Came around then as well, so she has half of Trine's runs today. Slap foul.
Just bends foul.
On its way, fouled again.
Now for Trine, they have a longer turnaround than the Titans do. They're back in action next Saturday, taking on Spalding at home.
Part of at least 3 straight in Angola. Be a 4-game homestand before they take on DePaul. Then they enter MIAA play. 2-2. Fouled again.
Yeah, this is a real big test for Poole. Can she keep her team in the game? Of course, by no means would it be over even if Trine were to take a 5 or 6 run lead, but much different when it's just a 3-run difference.
It's a 3-run difference also with momentum. Teardropped into center. Unable to get there.
Just drops. Good recovery to prevent a run from coming across.
So it's a single for Lee. Beckman just a tad late. And the bases are loaded with 1 out for Emma Beyer.
Number 6, Emma Beyer.
But a smart play you saw there. Beckman pulled up at the last second, which was the wise decision. Because otherwise, drops foul. Otherwise, you're dealing with high risk, high reward. You make a fantastic catch.
Yep.
Or that ball's squirting all the way to the fence.
And that could be
and that space
3
is clearing.
Yep. At the end of the day, a very wise decision from the center fielder.
Byers reached base twice today without a hit, reached on an error and walked. 1-1.
And it's a stark contrast from her performance in Game 1, where she went 0 for 3.
Hit on the ground underneath a diving coon. One run comes around, and everybody moves station to station.
Yeah, Byer will be thrilled with that one, doing just enough to squeeze that into the outfield. Very dangerous times now for the Titans. It is just one run, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't change much. But 3 runners still on, bases loaded. It could get a lot worse.
The biggest thing is Trine gets the run back they allowed in the third.
Poole has been pitching relatively steadily, but every once in a while we see one go way high. With Wheaton at the plate, this one's low.
Wheaton 1 of 2, singled back in the second.
She could replicate that here. Sure, her teammates would be thrilled. Could be 1 or 2 runs.
Still with 1 out, that would be at least 1, may do more than that. Fly to the right, no issue for Wilkins. However, tagging up and scoring is Debbie Hill.
Yeah, Wheaton will certainly take that. Anything that gets into the outfield with 1 out and bases loaded.
Not only that, with the sacrifice fly, but you free Debbie Hill to get ready to pitch the next half inning.
Oh, yeah.
Now batting number 20, Ainsley Phillips.
Runners on the corners for Ainsley Phillips. Milgazzo, and that'll do it for the fourth, but Trine has scored 6 runs over the last 3 innings, 3 straight 2 spots. We head to the bottom half of the fourth. Titans with a chance to reply on IWSports.com.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Bottom half of the fourth inning, Titans trailing 6-1 with the bottom part of their lineup set to hit. Jillian Ballard, followed by Annika Brown and Grace Wilkins. Still facing Debbie Hill, who has had spurts of trouble, but has gotten herself out of big damage over the first 3 innings.
Yeah, she's survived, and he stays on the mound for now.
Swung on and missed. Ballard struck out in the second.
And now the good thing for Hill is that the next 2 batters she's facing are 2 of the batters with the lowest averages in this Titan squad.
Foul back.
Ballard with an opportunity to change the tide of her season from a hitting perspective and also of this game. 6-1 the scoreline.
Oh, 2 down and out.
Yeah, Debbie Hill so far. I think we can describe this as a very good day. Productive one.
Fouled away.
got on base pretty consistently. Very consistently in Game 1, and then started Game 2 with another walk. Not to mention stepping into pitch. Wasn't originally reported to be starting this game, but has handled it very well. Just 3 hits for Wesleyan tonight, or rather this afternoon.
Playable in foul ground, finds the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, Ballard will be happy to see that one reach beyond the grasp of the Trine infielders. One-two pitch coming to Ballard.
Ground ball. 1 out.
Yeah, beaten by a step. It's a composed Trine infield.
The leadoff hitter has been retired in 3 of the 4 innings today. Missing low. Brown flew out to right back in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, it was also 0 for 3 in Game 1.
Ground ball, base hit.
That's exactly what she needed. Big confidence boost. It's been a difficult day for her.
Her 2nd hit on the season. Titans have only gone down in order once. That was the 2nd inning.
Yeah, getting runners on base hasn't been that big of a problem for Wesleyan, but the hosts failing to bring them across the plate. Managed it just twice in Game 1 and once so far today in this game.
Half swing from Wilkins, fouled off into the left.
Wilkins dangerous at the bottom of the order, as we discussed during Game 1. As certainly the best average out of any of the 3 batters we've seen so far in this inning.
Tried to slap, came up empty. Behind 0-2 with Melgazo due next. You can get Melgazo up with 2 on and 1 out, trailing by 5.
Yeah, that's why Brown has to be so happy with that single.
Nearly got caught.
Getting on base when Melgazo was 2 batters away is crucial, especially with 1 out. It would have been a very different situation if we had 2 on, 2 out, and nobody on here. This way, a sliver of hope for the Titans.
Good eye. Very busy day in Titan athletics all around the country. We'll update you on some other scores. As the start of the spring season takes place, in and out of the glove, Brown stays put.
Yeah, she thought about it for a second.
A payoff pitch coming.
Now, we mentioned how important it would be to get Melgazo up to the plate with a runner on. Now imagine 2 on with 1 out. Even more favorable situation. Let's see what happens on this full count pitch.
This would be the 6th walk issued by Hill. However, gets Wilkins swinging.
Yeah, that'll be a disappointment for Illinois Wesleyan.
Her 3rd strikeout of the day. And so instead of 2 on and 1 out for Melgazo, it's 1 on and 2 out. Hit on the ground, squeaking up the middle, but snared by Duel, and the side is retired. Titans strand one and get none. We head to the top of the fifth. Illinois Wesleyan down 5 on IWSports.com.
OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute has been named one of the top hospital systems in the country for heart care. This prestigious award by the American College of Cardiology comes from our commitment to providing the highest quality of care, from general cardiology to complex surgeries and the latest technology. Nationally recognized heart care right here. OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute.
What is
Top half of the fifth inning in Bloomington. Poole still working for the Titans. Down by 5, first pitch. Swung on, hit in the air to center. No problem.
Good start.
So one pitch, one out as Duel is retired. An eventful Saturday for Illinois Wesleyan Athletics. Nearly every spring sport is in action. We have some finals. Starting off with men's golf, finishing first down at Jekyll Island. Titan men's golf team that has national championship aspirations and certainly showcasing that in a stacked tournament with the majority of the top 20 teams in the country competing down at Jekyll Island. Women's lacrosse winners 21-3 on this Saturday, getting back on the right track before they head into CCIW play, defeating Augsburg. Ground ball, Kuhn over to Corey.
2 quick outs.
So 2 quick ones for Maddie Poole as Trine's retired. And that brings up Markham.
Yeah, well, Illinois Wesleyan fans can always take comfort in the fact that there's always some of their sports teams that are notching up wins. Truly a gold standard in D3 athletics.
So women's lax with a win. Baseball, a near loss in their opener at Wabash, 8-7. Women's golf also competing this week. Same with tennis. They're taking on Monmouth. Baseball in the second game of their doubleheader, getting revenge on Wabash, up 8-3 in the top of the 6th. So if that is a split, the rubber matchup, no matter what, will be in Bloomington tomorrow if the Titans were to win. If not, they'll try and salvage a 1-2 split in the home and home against the Little Giants. Men's volleyball against North Central in a critical CCIW contest as the Titans try and further solidify themselves in the conference tournament picture against a CCIW slate that consists of 3 top 20 teams. And the Titans currently down 2-0 and trailing by 6, 12-6 in the third set. Swung on, hit into right. Drops for a shallow base hit for Markham.
Yeah, it won't be 3 up, 3 down, but still a good situation for the Titans defensively. Of course, coming into this inning, the run rule is still a consideration. If Trine were to get 3 runs across and the Titans were to be blanked in the bottom half. So far, looking like the Titans will at least avoid that fate.
Debbie Hill, who's walked twice today and struck out, as well as kept the Titans off the board in the circle. Men's lacrosse also in action at 4 o'clock Central against Kelvin. So, busy slate for the Titans today, and also some great news in the basketball picture with D3Hoops.com's All-American Awards coming out today. Lauren Huber, a third-team All-American on the women's side, and for the first time in program history, the Titan men have a Rookie of the Year. Josh Fridman earning that crown earlier today.
Well deserved in what was a spectacular year for the Titans basketball programs.
Ground ball, Brown underhand toss, and the side is retired. Quick work from Poole, and we head to the last of the fifth as the Titans try to light the match offensively and chip away on IWSports.com.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Last of the fifth inning in Bloomington. Titans trailing 6-1. Matt Sosser alongside Kirill Anastasov. Debbie Hill still working, facing off against the 2 through 4 hitters, Beckman, Pinter, and Kuhn. And Kirill, if there's going to be a time in which the Titans at least chip away, it's likely here in the fifth.
Took the words out of my mouth. Now is the time for Illinois Wesleyan. The Bats need to get running with this very, very dangerous part of the order up in this inning.
A run of 2 spots for the Thunder in the second, third, and fourth, resulting in 6 runs, a strike 1 called. Illinois Wesleyan with just 1 run in the third. On a Pinter RBI knock that scored Milgazzo.
And of course, Pinter is on deck. She'll be next to the plate after Beckman.
Titans have done a decent job at getting runners on. However, of the 7 that have reached base, 6 have been stranded.
Yeah, it's a common occurrence for this Titans side. This late in the game, they really can't afford that anymore. For starters, Beckman needs to try and get on base as she takes ball 1.
Pair of ground outs for the number 2 hitter. Smacks it up the middle.
And there we go. Setting the tone early in this inning. This is the most dangerous part of the Wesleyan order, with the exception of Milgazzo, who was last up in the previous inning. Now we've got Pinter up. As you mentioned, she knocked in the only run. She's got a runner on and nobody out. Good situation.
Pinter cuts and misses. Pinter's reached twice, a walk and a single.
Either of those will suffice with Jen Kuhn coming up next.
And then you start thinking about it. If you have 2 on, nobody out for Kuhn. Followed by Wismiller and Corey. A trio that has, relative to their prior seasons, been in hibernation to start.
Mm-hmm. Is this the moment where they catch fire?
Emergency hack. You got Wismiller hitting .333 entering today, Corey at .417, Kuhn at .654. So when I say hibernation, It's because
Relatively speaking.
this group has very lofty expectations in terms of their performance.
Yeah, Corey has had a very solid season so far, but today has struggled. Bunt shown here by Pinter.
Takes low.
Yeah, calm and collected here at the plate. She's been in the situation before.
Deuces. Fair ball.
Or not.
Or not, yes. Thought that tightrope the chalk and stayed on the left.
Yeah, my first indication was Markham not rushing to play that to second.
It doesn't matter where it's fielded as long as its last bounce is to the left of the chalk.
Still, all things considered, that's
it's a break
lucky
for the
break
Titans.
for the Titans, yes.
That would have been a reasonable double play shot.
Yep.
Take a look at it again. Break caught indeed for the green and white. Full count. Free pass.
And now, all of a sudden, Hill and her teammates thought they were in a double play situation. Now they have 2 on with nobody out, and the most dangerous hitter this season for the Titans at the plate.
Jen Kuhn, 1 of 2 today, a single in the first, flew out to right in the third.
She's yet to manage a home run this year, but if there ever was a time.
That would cut the score to 2. However, I'm sure in Kuhn's mind, it's her number 1 objective is be sure that Casey Wismiller comes up with still nobody out.
Yes, certainly. That would be the goal here. Got to chip away at this lead 1 by 1. Can't be taking any rash risks.
Swing and a miss. Pinter on first, Beckman on second, following a single and a walk. Kuhn skies it into right, back at the track, and that falls over the wall.
Well, for once, we see the opposite of a commentator's jinx. A 3-run home run for Jen Kuhn to turn this game on its head. All of a sudden, the Titans are within 2.
Kuhn's first long ball of the campaign, and it's 6-4.
We knew she had it in her. But what a moment to produce your first home run of the season. Now it's important for the Titans to remember that despite this sudden change in the momentum, sudden shift, they are still down.
Well, that's the positive for Debbie Hill and the Thunder right now. Is obviously you take the runs when you can get them. But now for Hill, with nobody out and nobody on, she can hit the reset button and still exit this stanza ahead by 2.
It's essentially a new inning for her. She has to put what just happened out of her mind. And so does Wismiller, really.
Action taking place in the Trine bullpen.
Wismiller tips it.
Wismiller's walked twice today.
And with no outs, a walk wouldn't be a bad idea, a bad situation for the Titans to find themselves in, though.
Yeah.
Wesmiller is down in the count.
Pitcher warming up for Trine, Michaela Doiron, who is the starting pitcher on the lineup card.
Originally believed to be starting this game, and if you were with us, you'll recall that was originally reported. She might still get her chance on the mound much later in the game than originally announced.
Deuces. Wesmiller stays alive and then some as it leaks into the bullpen.
Yeah, I can't imagine Hill finishing this game at this point.
You'd think if she gets out of the fifth, there might be a puncher's chance.
Otherwise, Doiron will be called into the fray.
The deuces, full count.
Wesmiller is handling this at-bat exactly the way we know she would. She's composed. She's not chipping away, not taking big swings. She knows a walk is a good idea.
Payoff called strike 3.
Well, she'll be disappointed by that. Nonetheless, just one out, and it is still a 2-run ball game. Ava Corey, again we mentioned, has struggled at the plate today, but has had a good season hitting-wise.
Corey 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts today. And just like a three-point shooter in basketball that is cold, not hitting shots, clanking them off the rim, you feel for Corey, if she can just connect with one,
Yep.
it'll right the ship for her.
Certainly. A single will be enough for her to break that rhythm, maybe get out of her head a little bit. Of course, far from the end of the world, having one bad day. She made contact on the last 2 pitches here.
Corey takes high.
Yeah, to retire the first 2 batters, 2 dangerous batters after conceding a 3-run home run would be a fantastic situation for Hill.
Talked about that reset button for her after the Kuhn home run. Corey swings and misses strike 3, so back-to-back strikeouts for Hill.
Yeah, she does just what she needed to do. She's got Ballard coming up. Compared to Corey and Wesmiller, not as big of a threat.
Now batting number 21, Jillian Ballard.
Either way, that Kuhn home run has made this one to watch as we head into the last 2 innings.
Now you think about the top of the 6th. Trine will have Rocha, Lee, and Byer due to hit.
And Roach has been so good today at the plate.
But also, you look at, because the top of the order for the Titans was able to do what they did earlier on in this inning, that guarantees, if you were to assume the minimum,
It'll get back to Kuhn.
it'll get back to Kuhn at the very least.
She's batting cleanup. So certainly still a lot of drama awaiting here in Game 2 of this doubleheader. First game wasn't without drama either.
Slow roller, Byer. And the side is retired, so after the 3-run home run by Jeng Kuhn to slice it down to a 2-run gap, Debbie Hill is able to settle things down and send the next 3 down in sequence. We head to the top of the 6th. Trine, lead decreased to 2 on IWSports.com.
OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute has been named one of the top hospital systems in the country for heart care. This prestigious award by the American College of Cardiology comes from our commitment to providing the highest quality of care, from general cardiology to complex surgeries and the latest technology. Nationally recognized heart care right here. OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute.
What is proven?
Last of the 6th inning, or check that, top of the 6th inning in Bloomington. Poole still on the hill, taking on Macy Rocha to start off after the Illinois Wesleyan Titans put up 3 runs in their half of the 5th inning to make it a 6-4 game. Emma Lee is due next, and then Emma Byer will follow. Curl, how does Trine answer knowing that just like that, we were talking about run rules for the Thunder in the 4th inning, and now all of a sudden we got a save situation?
Well, this is a dangerous part of the order. You're playing a probably tiring pitcher, a pitcher who's already had to deal with some problems. So it's just about getting runners on base by any means necessary. Even one run here does so much mentally. It doesn't obviously mathematically recover the 3 runs brought in by that home run from Kuhn, but it changes the sense of the game. And it is a dangerous part of the order, in the middle of the order here for Trine.
That's the other piece to mention, with only 6 guaranteed batters left for the Thunder. Playable to left, Melgazo for the first out. With only 5 guaranteed batters for Trine. The last guaranteed hitter would be Whitney Duell, which would mean you'd avoid the 2 through 4 spots if you're able to send them down in order. Obviously, you got to do work on the offensive side, too, if you're Illinois Wesleyan.
No, as far as order math is concerned, it's a favorable situation for the Titans. The only situation that isn't favorable is the one on the scoreboard.
You'd say if they were up at this point and the score was flipped, they'd be in prime territory.
Absolutely, yeah. This way, with the leading team not having their best batters awaiting in the 7th, if everything goes according to plan for the Titans, definitely adds more drama to Game 2 of this doubleheader. It's been a great day of softball at Inspiration Field in Bloomington.
But also, it depends on what Trine decides to do pitching-wise. In the 6th and the 7th, there's an interesting stat I'll bring to you in just a moment. It's popped up on the infield. Ballard, 2 down.
Well done by the catcher there.
So Debbie Hill playing both ways, pitching and hitting. Today she's hitting the 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th.
Number 6, Emma Byer.
2 of those 4 innings, the 3rd and the 5th, the Titans have scored a run. So I do firmly believe, even though the sample size is very small, that does play a role if she has to hit in the top half.
No, absolutely.
And then has to pitch in the bottom half.
Throwing the fact there's already been a game where she was very involved on the hitting end. Yeah, it's putting mental strain. She might not be physically fatigued, although after 5 innings of pitching, she may very well be too, but she's certainly mentally exhausted. That being said, she finished with 3 straight outs after the 3-run home run, so interesting to see if we have a pitching change in the bottom of this inning.
You want to dive deeper into the softballism. Debbie Hill's hitting line. She reached base in the first and the fourth, both on walks. She struck out in the third and grounded out in the fifth. The Titans scored runs in the third and the fifth.
Yep.
So I think the recipe is if you're able to retire Debbie Hill in the top half of an inning, it's good luck for the Titans in the bottom half.
Very well could be. I mean, it's not a reach by any means. It's already developing into something of a pattern here, and not a coincidence, in my opinion.
Contradictory, though, to our point earlier, Debbie Hill would not get another plate appearance should Maddie Poole and the rest of this Titan pitching staff retire the Thunder in order for the last out of the sixth and then into the seventh. Again, the last guaranteed hitter, the one spot in Whitney Duel.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Even so, even with all these calculations, Hill is still someone who can produce at the plate. So maybe it's best not to run that risk. Whichever way you spin it, this could turn out very well for the Titans. They'll need to get the bats going, though.
1-2 misses high. Last strikeout for Trine was from Keelan Wheaton back in the third.
Full count here, and we mentioned how if every batter is retired in order, it only gets back up to duel. If we see Bayer get on base here, that would bring up Trine.
Foul off and to the left. Then you're really getting into the danger territory.
Yep.
We saw what happened in game one with Trine, leading by a slim margin. They then put up 3 in the seventh and broke it open.
Yep. And that is the situation that the Titans will want to avoid here. And whether Poole is actively thinking about it or not doesn't matter. It's sitting in her brain. She's aware, even subconsciously, of the situation.
Corey snares it in, and the side is retired. 3 up, 3 down. The Thunder go for the first time today. And we head to the last half of the sixth. 8-9-1 due up for the Titans, down 2 on IWSports.com.
Why is Illinois Wesleyan the #1 school in Illinois for jobs? Maybe it's because we're the AND University. That's right, A-N-D. And here you can explore the arts and study in a pre-professional program, double major, and play a sport, do an internship, and study abroad. Your opportunities are endless. Set yourself apart with a degree from Illinois Wesleyan.
Now batting, number 24, Annika Brown.
Last half of the sixth inning in Bloomington. Titans put up 3 in their half of the fifth, and they had the best sequence possible. 3-run home run followed by 3 up, 3 down in the top half of the sixth. Annika Brown starts us off with Debbie Hill still working for the Thunder.
Yeah, we weren't sure whether we would see her come out for the sixth. She is on the mound, and she starts with a strike.
Brown, 1 of 2, flew out back in the second, singled in the fourth.
Yeah, just her second hit of the season, but now she'll try to ride that momentum, get on base again. It would be huge with a solid batter in Wilkins coming up, and then Milgazzo, who has been so dangerous all day.
Did not go around on the check swing. Count even at 1 apiece. Swung on, hit in the air to right, but playable for Trine.
Yeah, some 10 feet short of the fence. It's a good start for Hill, and it's been pretty easy going for Hill ever since the 3-run home run. So for what it's worth, while we do see little influences between her pitching and her batting, she's handled herself very well in this combined role.
We talk about trends over the course of this game. Wilkins over 2 with 2 strikeouts. For the Titans, their only run-producing innings started off with getting the leadoff hitter on.
Yep. And so we can find inspiring trends, and we can find not-so-great trends for the Titans. At the end of the day, anything can happen.
And the Titans try to do that here in the 6th with 1 out and nobody on. Milgazzo on deck. Trying out hitting the Titans 9-6. Slap attempt. Wilkins goes around.
Now, the hosts are aware that they have a great part of the order coming up in the 7th, should it be 3 up, 3 down here. But to get there with any sort of realistic chance of winning this game or tying it, they'll have to work their way through another inning.
You'd have the same trio due up as Wilkins strikes out for the 3rd time today. You have the same trio set to hit in the 7th that got you 3 runs in the 5th.
But that also means that this is 5 straight outs.
And the advantage for Illinois Wesleyan in the 7th is given that they've thrown 2 pitchers, Mallory Holland and then Maddie Poole. Time spaced through the order is much less for Trine. When Duel comes up in the 7th, she's scheduled to hit 3rd.
Yep.
Whereas if the Thunder keep Debbie Hill for the 7th, Milgazzo's facing her right now for the 4th time.
Yeah.
In turn, for Beckman, for Pinter, for Kuhn. That's the 4th time against a pitcher. So you start to question, how much new stuff does she have? And as a matter of fact, you look at those 3, Beckman, Pinter, and Kuhn, that trio has reached base 6 times.
Yeah, they are the reason behind this fight from the Titans.
So it certainly favors Illinois Wesleyan. However, the first priority for the green and white, if they're unable to get anything here in the 6th, is you absolutely have to keep Trine off the board in the top of the 7th. You cannot give up 3 runs like you did in game number 1 as Milgazzo fouls it away.
And now the situation that they absolutely want to avoid is leaving any combination of Milgazzo, Beckman, Pinter, Kuhn stranded on base. So if Milgazzo was to get on base here, Beckman would need to back it up.
Fouls it away. Milgazzo singled and scored in the 3rd, has grounded out twice.
Yeah, broke a hitting streak that she had through the first game and through the start of this one.
The deuces. Milgazzo takes inside.
A full count if Hill was able to retire Milgazzo here. Could very well see her in the 7th. I feel like that might be called into question should she give up walks or hits here.
Payoff pitch called, strike 3, and the side is retired. The Titans go 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. We head to the 7th. Trine up 2 on IWSports.com.
OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute has been named one of the top hospital systems in the country for heart care. This prestigious award by the American College of Cardiology comes from our commitment to providing the highest quality of care, from general cardiology to complex surgeries and the latest technology. Nationally recognized heart care right here. OSF Healthcare Cardiovascular Institute.
What is
Top half of the 7th inning in Bloomington. Poole still working for Illinois Wesleyan. Facing off against the 8, 9, and 1 hitters.
Yeah, she'll want to make quick work here. Get this back to the offense, a dangerous part of the offense.
Wheaton swings and misses. Single in the 3rd, struck out in the 3rd, hit a sac fly in the 4th. In game 1, Trine put up 3 runs in the 7th to put the game out of reach. Titans hoping for a different result this time around to give their offense a fighting chance in the last of the 7th.
Yep, Jen Kuhn giving the Titans some life in this game with her 3-run home run.
Trine put up 2 runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Illinois Wesleyan 1 run in the 3rd on a Pinter RBI single that scored Milgazzo, and then a 3-run home run by Kuhn in the 5th. Foul back.
Even 2-2 count here. And for Trine, they know the importance of getting another insurance run.
The deuces. 1 out.
Yeah, well handled by Brown. Plays it quickly to Corey. 3 up, 3 down would be the ideal scenario for the Titans here. Obviously, it's the ideal scenario in any defensive situation, but especially now.
Titans have only sent Trine down in order once. That was in the 6th.
Yeah, trying to keep the trend going here.
Swung on and missed. Phillips.
Both pitchers catching a second wind late here.
Lined out in the 2nd, walked in the 3rd, flew out in the 4th. Trine, of course, hoping that this is not their last game at Inspiration Field at Carroll Willis Park. They're hoping that they come back here in the postseason at the very least for the national championships.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility. Great for the fans.
And the world of Division III softball will descend on Bloomington in May for the national championships. Popped up, foul territory, out of play. The Titans hoping that they potentially could be at home all postseason long and become just the 2nd Illinois Wesleyan squad to play for a national championship or to reach the last stage of competition on their own field or in their own building.
Would be huge for this program. And they've already made a statement. They've gotten a ranked win this season.
Heads up, the bat goes flying. It's a fair ball. I never thought I'd see a broken bat in softball.
I wasn't anticipating something like this today, but
so if you got that on your bingo card, you can check that off.
Fair play to Phillips. She does what needed to be done, and that's break the rhythm that Poole had gotten going starting in the 5th.
So a single for Phillips. One on, 1 out for Whitney Duell. Hit in the air to right center. Gets down for a base hit. Ekman throws in 2nd and 3rd with just 1 out.
Well, a crisis averted by a quick response. No run coming across, but now it's not looking good for the Titans.
And now you think about how you pitch against Carly Trine, who singled in the first and has been retired 3 straight times.
Yeah, if she was to replicate that first at-bat, manage a single here, that could be 7 or 8-4 to the visitors. And then the Titans' job would get infinitely harder.
Hit in the air, popped up.
Yeah, the good news is none of that. At least not in this at-bat.
This is the 5th time through the Trine lineup, so you got Tyra Markham. And honestly, Krill, we might get the best of both worlds. If Markham's able to reach and Debbie Hill is retired for the last out, that's no runs. She gets to hit. She would have to be out for no runs unless there was a pass ball or a wild pitch.
Yeah, I mean, not to get too much into the projections here, but certainly if there's anything that can rattle a pitcher, it's not making use of a bases-loaded opportunity in the last inning.
And also going back to the stat from earlier that every time that Debbie Hill has been retired in an inning while hitting, she has given up a run while pitching.
And with the 2-0 count here, it's looking rather likely that we do see her in this inning.
Markham's reached 3 times, 3 different ways. A fielder's choice, a walk, and a single. Popped up into left for Melgazo. Makes the catch, and the side is retired. A little bit of trouble from the Trine offense. However, Poole keeps them off the board, and we head to the last of the 7th. Titans need 2 to keep this game alive on IWSports.com.
It's time to play Did You Know with Illinois Wesleyan. First off, true or false? On average, over half of tuition for accepted students is covered by scholarships and grants. True. IWU invests more than $40 million in scholarships and grants for students each year.
Where has IWU ranked in highest earning graduates among small schools in Illinois? If you guessed number 1, you got it. And what's even better, IWU is the number 1 college in Illinois for getting a job and number 7 in the nation.
Last question, how much does it cost to apply to Illinois Wesleyan? If you said nothing, well, you're right. There's absolutely no application fee. So what are you waiting for? Visit, apply, and see all the opportunities for success that await you at Illinois Wesleyan University.
Last of the 7th in Bloomington, Matt Sossler alongside Kirill Anastasov. Titans trailing 6-4 with the heart of their order due up still against Debbie Hill, working for her 7th inning, going for the complete game. It'll be Anna Beckman, Bella Pinter, and Jen Kuhn, the same trio that put up 3 runs in the 5th for the green and white, and Kirill. Simple math, if they can do it again, they'll walk this thing off.
Exactly. And yeah, it's not an ideal situation, but it's not a bad one either. All things considered, if you're down, this is the part of the order you want. Speaking of,
Beckman leads off with a single just like she did in the 5th.
And now the questions start popping up. For Hill, for Trine, how do they rectify this? Ideal start. Beckman wasting no time.
It was also a single on the right side of the infield in the 5th.
Yeah, it does feel like we're watching an encore of that 5th inning.
Pinter takes a strike. Pinter has reached base 3 times, an RBI single in the 3rd, a walk in the 1st and 5th. Came around to score on the Kuhn home run. She's the tying run. Jen Kuhn is the winning run on deck.
Yeah, feels that's the beauty of this sport. Just half an hour, 40 minutes ago, we were talking about a run rule victory for Trine, and now we're discussing a potential winning run for Illinois Wesleyan.
Just goes to show you, if you can stop the bleeding at a certain point, how the game can change. Fouled away.
And I think in a situation where the hosts escape with a victory here in their home opener, even though it would have been a split doubleheader, the Titans will come away feeling happier.
It's also another ranked win as Pinter stays alive.
Yeah,
Trine ranked number 11. You're able to get a split off them. That's a huge confidence booster this early on in the season. Trine, in sports in the month of March in Bloomington, Illinois, have a record of 1-1 this year. Their women's basketball team lost to the Titan women in the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament just a couple weeks back. And coincidentally, the Trine women's basketball team, 2-2. Trine women's basketball team, Krill, guess what their rank was?
Don't tell me 11.
It was 11. You want to go further down the line?
Oh, please.
You want to make this even more interesting? As Pinter is in a full count. The Trine women's basketball team that weekend finished with a record of 1-1. They beat Transylvania, get this, in overtime. I know the first game didn't go to extras, but Trine had to score in the 7th to put that game away. And then they lost to Illinois Wesleyan in the round of 32. So there are parallels all over the place. Base hit for Pinter, and the winning run comes up to the plate.
Well, Matt, your parallels, they never fail to amuse me, and clearly there's some credibility in them, because here we are, all of a sudden, the Titans have a real chance at tying this or even coming away with a win in 7.
And now the question is, does Trine make a pitching change? With first and second, nobody out.
Personally,
the law firm of Kuhn, Wistmiller, and Corey waiting.
To me, it's a no-brainer.
And indeed it is. And here's where you get real interesting. You want to get real interesting here, it's Alexis Michon to try and put this game to rest.
Wow, that is a bold choice.
These are moves in softball that you would typically go to in regionals, supers, conference tournaments, high leverage games in conference.
Speaks to the importance of this game for both teams.
Going with your game 1 starter to close out game 2. It's something that you sometimes don't usually see this early in the season because, again, you want to see how people handle different situations. You want to see how they can manage pressure spots. But one could say this could be a game that has mirror images of April and May. Still in the winding days of March, and you also got to think, you got Jen Kuhn coming up. The last thing that Trine would have wanted is to have Debbie Hill face off against Jen Kuhn again after what happened last time.
No, it's an absolute no-brainer of a decision to sub her off. What the surprise is to bring on Michon. And she faced off against Kuhn in game 1. Kuhn went 1 for 3, did not get a run. So it's an interesting matchup. They've both gotten the better of each other at some point today.
Michon, 10 strikeouts in game 1, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, both earned. No walks, and again, 10 strikeouts. One of those RBIs was to Jen Kuhn, who today singled in the first, flew out in the third, 3-run home run in the 5th. She's the winning run, tying run on first.
Mental gymnastics involved in that decision, too. It changes things when all of a sudden you have the pitcher who, for the better part of today, was dominating your offense.
Gary pinch runs at first base. Ball gets away, and both runners advance 60 feet.
Yep, Phillips drops it, and all of a sudden, the tying run is on second base.
In scoring position that also eliminates a conventional double play. Still with nobody out, but a double play even in that extent with a runner on third and 2 outs up 2, you're looking at a much different story.
It's a huge break for the Titans. Everything seems to be going right in the second half of this game.
And also a base hit from Jen Kuhn ties the game, all things considered. Swung on, hit in the air to deep left, back at the track and caught. That'll allow a run to score. So Jen Kuhn with the sacrifice fly. And the Titans slice the gap in half.
The only thing that could have made this game more dramatic than Kuhn going yard in a walk-off 3-run homer is a sacrifice fly, because now it's 1 out, so all of a sudden Trine are a step closer, but the gap has been narrowed to 1 run.
Kuhn just missing a walk-off 3-run shot. Gary's still at second base. And that, again, further emphasizes the dirt ball. Because then it would be likely still first and second. That Kuhn fly ball means nothing. It's an out.
Yep.
And Trine would be a double play away from victory.
No, so much that we can look back on now and say it played a decisive role in the outcome of this game.
Wissmiller, ground ball off the heel of the glove, and runners are on the corners as Byer couldn't corral.
Everything is going right for Illinois Wesleyan now. Now the danger is, with a runner on first, a double play could end the game. Alternatively, the tying run is on third base.
And now do you think with 1 out, do you run a delayed steal with Wissmiller to try and get Gary home? Do you force the issue with Phillips to throw down to second base?
It's risky, but it's something that has to be considered.
They give Wissmiller a single. So runners on the corners, 1 out, and Ava Corey steps in. Corey swings, hits it in the air and shallow. Catch made. Do they test? They do not.
That's not a good scenario for Corey. The only thing worse would have been grounding into a double play. 2 outs now, runners on the corners, 1-run game.
And we'll see what Coach Prager decides to do. Does she go with Ballard, or does she roll with a pinch hitter? Looks like we will get a pinch hitter.
Again, the right choice. Jillian Ballard has struggled today. Not saying that she wouldn't have what it takes, but go with a safer option in this situation.
Claire Post will pinch hit for Ballard. Post went 1 for 3 in game 1, a single in the 7th.
A single in the 7th here would, at the very least, force extra innings.
Tying run on third, winning run at first. And with that Corey fly ball, the one thing that does take away is Casey Wissmiller staying put at first base. She's not taking off whatsoever. The last thing you want to do is make the last out of a game on the base pass.
You don't run that risk.
Titans trailed 6-1 at the end of the 4th. Jen Kuhn hit a 3-run home run in the 5th to make it 6-4. And in the 7th, the Titans have gotten their offense going. Beckman with a single. She came around to score on a Kuhn sack fly. Pinter singled, was lifted for Gary. She's on third, representing the tying run. And then Wissmiller with a single after the Kuhn sack fly. She's on first. Corey flew out to left.
Yeah, no matter what happens, very, very positive sign for Wesleyan that the Bats have gotten going, that they have 9 hits, 5 runs, an improvement from game 1.
The junior out of Normal. The last line of defense for the green and white takes a strike.
Yeah, now, what a day it's been for Michonne. She could end it in a similar fashion to the way she started it.
Get a win and a save in the same day.
Don't hear that often.
It can only happen when you play a doubleheader. It's impossible to get one in the same game as Post swings and misses. And the Titans are down to their last strike.
It's a difficult situation now for the Titans. They've clawed their way back into this. They're so close.
60 feet and mere inches at the same time. New sign. Post stays alive.
And you can feel the anticipation when that ball just hangs in the air, waiting for the call.
Post has some room up the middle, with both middle infielders playing closer to the lines.
Pitch from Michon.
Foul back.
And again, it's impossible, even for two players as good as Michon and Post. There is simply no way that they aren't feeling the tension of this moment. They're trying their very best not to think about the circumstances, but how can they not?
Tying run on third base. Titans trying to come back from 5 runs down in an attempt to at least force extras and salvage the split. Trine 1 strike away from the sweep, and Post swings and misses for strike 3, and the Thunder escape. A big comeback from Illinois Wesleyan and take both over the Titans.
Yeah, you have to give credit to this Trine side. Obviously a huge disappointment for the hosts, but lots of positive signs for Illinois Wesleyan. Great showing from the green and white, especially in the second half of that second game. And Trine went for the very bold decision to bring in Michon, and it paid dividends.
Michon, after retiring 3 of 4 hitters, after the Titans led off with 2 straight singles to start the 7th, but the comeback falls just a hair short. Illinois Wesleyan, after the sweep, drops to 6-4. Trine improves to 14-4. We'll take a quick timeout. Be back with more postgame on IWSports.com. Wrapping things up from Inspiration Field at Carroll Willis Park, Trine takes both games over Illinois Wesleyan. Matt Sossler alongside Kirill Nastasov. Both games, you feel like a play here or a play there could have really made the difference.
Absolutely. I mean, the first game, if you weren't with us for that one, much closer than the scoreline suggests. 3 runs in the top of the 7th inning, essentially carrying Trine over the finish line. And the second game, I mean, what a spectacle it was from start to finish. Trine building up an early lead again. But Illinois Wesleyan, unlike in the first game, really got it going offensively, and it just fell short with the tying run stranded on third base in the bottom of the 7th. You got to rue the missed opportunities. Looking back, there's so many moments. At one point, they left the bases loaded, but nonetheless, a promising attacking performance in the second half of that second game.
The Titans' record drops to 6-4, Trine 14-4. Taking a look at some stats and decisions from game number 2. Jen Kuhn for the Titans, 2 of 3, 4 RBI. Bella Pinter, the other RBI for Illinois Wesleyan, she finished 2 of 2. Pinter also on the day. Reached base all 4 times, walked twice. For Trine, Whitney Duell with 2 RBIs, went 3 for 5. Rocha, Beyer, and Wheaton also with RBIs to go along with that. It could have been because she was pitching, but Debbie Hill, much less of a factor in the batter's box, walking twice, going 0 for 2 in the second of 2 games. So the Titans did a good job with their adjustments. Looking at some team stats, Trine left 12 on base. Illinois Wesleyan stranded 8, including the tying run at third. Decisions before we say goodnight. The win should go to Debbie Hill. 6 innings, 5 runs, 8 hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. Michon picks up the save. 1 inning pitched, just 1 hit, 1 strikeout, and kept the tying run from scoring. The loss goes to Mallory Holland. 2 1/3 innings of work, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, a walk, and a strikeout. Maddie Poole in relief, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Up next for Illinois Wesleyan, they visit Illinois College on Wednesday before they host the first weekend of the IWU Invite next Saturday and Sunday. Trine's got a week off before they head back to Angola for a 4-game homestand before they head into MIAA play. For our entire crew in Bloomington, Tyler Wilson and our entire streaming crew, Katie Gonzalez, and our whole athletic communications staff, and Kirill Anasazov, I'm Matt Sossler. Titans drop 2 to Trine, and we'll chat with you next week on IWSports.com.